Hey, hi, howdy, everyone.
To those that are just joining,
Cat. Oh, goodness, sorry. Didn't mean to squeeze you that hard. Trying to give you a hug. You gonna stick it on the back? All right. So I didn't go live last night, and while I do apologize, but I'd gotten a message, right? Like, hey, are you gonna go live? And I was like, I don't know, because I really didn't feel up to going live. And those streams as of late have been kind of wonky for me because I've been concentrating on a lot of different things all at once and dealing with a lot of different things. And finances have been tight enough that it's like, this kind of sucks because I still need to pay. I hate the fact I still owe on my uncle's funeral. I hate that. I got to make a phone call. Is what I got to do. And I got to find out, why do I get charged $20 every single time I try to make a payment? Because if I didn't get charged $20 every single time I made a payment, I'd probably already be paid off. Because I'd be able to break it up into smaller payments. But having to make, the full payment or $500 and watching the money that is supposed to be for rent go to virtually nothing has been, that was Frodo. What was that thing? Panic inducing is what I can do. Hey, kiddo. I know that's a chicken, but do you want some, No? You don't want a pork skewer? Come grab one. That's why I got 4. I got one for each. Yeah, I got 4 pork skewers, one for each person. No, they're pork. That beef would taste entirely different. Yeah. So when I pay $500 towards it, I'm paying $520. Technically, it's like last time it was like $21.62 or something like that. So budgeting becomes a lot harder because that $20, honestly, that's me getting my lunch after I do physical therapy. And for those who don't know, I do physical therapy, and this is my treat to myself once or twice a week for being able to go and do that and handle. Can you hand me chopsticks? Apparently I don't have any. Who's underneath my table now? Hi. I love you too. Oh, I love you too. Give me a second. Oh, I just got back, so I'm a little sore. And since it's twice a week now instead of once a week, I'm actually going to probably cut back on the meals. So I only do it once a week. What's up?
Huh?
What's up?
Have I ever? What the fuck is that? Why is he 10 feet in the goddamn air? It's soccer!
Yeah, that seems about normal.
You should be on the ground sport there is that doesn't have multiple X's in its title. No, I want DNA testing. I don't know how we test for demigod or what or what's going on here.
Too much, and we'll probably get flagged for copyright. Thank you for Dr. Wake for joining as a member, by the way. Thank you so much. Mando versus Green Ranger. No, it's all right. I didn't stream it last night, so. Ooh. I got an extra pen shit. Hey, Ryu. They gave me too much panchet.
What?
They gave me too much panchet.
Okay.
So you're going to wind up having some panchet. I say that like it's a bad thing that they gave me too much. It's not. It's just a lot. And I can't physically eat that much anymore. Like, I need to cut back in general. So I'm just setting a bunch of this to the side so I don't add a bunch of sauce to it. That's an okay amount. That's like a scoop right there. So there we go. Hey, I didn't think we have somebody about to join us. Look at that. I didn't think he would join. It's your anniversary, dude. What you doing?
I know, but so I have family here right now, and they are hanging out in the living room, and my sister is off with my nephew doing something, and everyone's kind of occupied. So I'm like, I have half an hour or so before the pizza that we ordered for dinner arrives, so I'm gonna hop on and say hi.
All right. Dude, you can't eat a bite off of every single piece.
It's
And
been-
that is your.
it's
No.
been-
At least wrap it up in your own
There's-
foil. No one is going to eat that. You took a bite off of every single piece. That's not how you eat a
There's
piece.
a lot of fucking fat. I can't eat the fat.
Okay, put it in its own thing, and you can try to eat some more of the meat later.
It's been a very, very busy week for me. Tomorrow's my birthday. I have improv. I've got the day. I'm gonna try to get some work done tomorrow on sketches and stuff, and then Saturday improv all day. Sunday, not sure during the day. Evening dinner, and then Monday life goes back to normal-ish.
That's good. Being busy isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just trying time management can kind of suck with
Yeah.
it.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, Christopher Murray. Appreciate that. I missed it. There we go. All right. Thank you. Normal Rusty is just as busy, but with less outside distraction. No, the last Monday through yesterday were a big learning time for me. So one of my improv and sketch mentors was in town to do a workshop for our improv theater. He is on the board of multiple improv theaters. He travels the world to teach and coach improv and comedy. He's a director, actor, producer, has made movies actively, has had TV shows, etc. So I was kind of locked into him, learning as much as I could while I had access to him.
I want to meet Matthew Lillard and play a D&D game with him.
This guy's personal friends with Matthew Lillard.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now that said, I don't have the equity with him to be like, hey, can we meet Matthew Lillard? But maybe someday I will. But yeah, it'd be super fun to play D&D with him.
Oh no, the skewer broke off. That makes life interesting. Okay, we're just gonna get my hands dirty. That's all right.
Daddy,
Levi Markin, I'm sorry to hear about that.
What's up?
I want some One Piece now.
Bad timing. If you get me a couple napkins, sure. What did Levi say? Oh, that
Shit.
I've dealt with that. It always sucks. Whether you're the one that cuts off or the other way around for any reason.
Christopher Murray, great question. Right now, the people I want to collaborate the most with are Death Battle, and I kind of bridged that connection at VidCon. We're waiting to see. I'm kind of waiting for a response to an email that I sent to see if it's something that can happen. What I talked about with them was, and I got the founder's contact info and emailed him that night. What we talked about was the next time they have a villain Thomas, you're fine. The next time they have a villain in a video, maybe it would make sense for that villain to call villain support and try to get some advice. They knew what villain support was. Like I walked up with my shirt on, they both kind of gave me this like, I know what that is kind of look. they both were like, I've seen this. Which was cool.
Considering how often we get tagged in their videos or vice versa, I'm honestly not surprised.
Right.
It's just we have very widely different takes of how we handle it. We go the comedic route, right?
Right.
Sometimes it is the Winchester series is a prime example of there's zero reason as to why the Winchesters would win.
They should not win these fights, but it's fun to have them win the fights.
Yes.
I always got to turn the Elgato camera on and make sure that I've got the compensation set right, because otherwise, I look insanely pale. Otherwise, like,
I'm at laptops, so I'm just happy that I don't have really bad lighting.
I don't know
I
why
apologize
it's
to
not-
everyone here. I usually read a bunch of the comments. When Chris is here, I very quickly lose track of the comments because I'm talking to Chris, I'm talking to you guys, we're having full conversations. It becomes really difficult. So he mentioned the Lantern, the Predators versus Captain Planet. To that I say, and this is going to kind of suck, Predator content the Predators versus content may not show up on the channel for a little while because it got saturated and the views were down, and then we saturated again and the views are down again.
Yeah.
So we have to take a break from that content. It used to be that we could do, a month of Predator content and it would not affect our views, but we've done so many of those videos.
Yeah.
That although they are still popular and in demand, we have to space them out.
Have you seen? Here's the way to look at it. Has anyone seen those videos of the dude who lives in the rural village in China, and every single episode is a short little thing of him like eating something and being like, "Ooh, I want sauce for this," and trying to scoop, and the sauce is gone, and he has to make it.
It's time for bed.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, because the gag for everyone online is when his stuff comes up on your feed,
yeah,
you need to go to bed.
Right. But think about that. The Predators right now, the way we are with Predator videos, we are scraping the bottom of an empty barrel, being like, there's got to be a little more sauce in here. we need to make a batch and let it ferment and put it in there and let it set for however long, and then it'll be ready for us to scoop more Predator videos out of there.
Getting asked about if you're exercising still.
Yes, it's been slower going. I've been having a really hard time sleeping, and I've been super tired and busy hosting my mentor the last couple days. But I walked a bunch today, mainly walking through stores trying to find something. But I'm not getting the distance that I want to get. In part because I'm busy, and in part because my vertigo has been really bad the last couple days, and it's harder to walk when that's going on. But I've got just under 2 miles done today.
I did 2 miles on the bike today because of physical therapy.
Yeah.
And I applaud you for being for doing that and being able to walk. So for those who don't know, I cannot, like, he has his issues, right? But then he's able to walk for, like, you did apparently 6 miles one day.
So when I was at VidCon, let me get back in here real quick. VidCon was my biggest day was Thursday of VidCon, the first day of VidCon. 13,000 steps, 5.85 miles.
And see, from a physical standpoint, and like even if I had been at VidCon, I probably would have gotten similar, but I would have been in so much pain.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, where VidCon is held, I would have been able to have my pain medication. That's what we've talked about me for everyone here. Why I don't go to conventions is I have a threshold, and if the place that the convention is held at is a place that won't let me take my medication because I don't want to take Vicodin or anything like Vicodin, which is an opioid. I don't want to take opioids. If medical cannabis isn't allowed, I really can't go to that convention without the knowledge that I'm probably going to have a single day, and then every other day I'm going to be in agony. I'm going to have partial times. Because when I was doing, before it got accepted here and we were trying to go to conventions here, half the day of a convention after the first day, which Thursday for Salt Lake, you've been here, is like the shortest day. Just that day alone put me out the next day for the most part. Like I had to do a lot of seating. I had to plan around it because I could not physically
Yeah, I mean,
handle the pain.
when we were at FanX together, it got to the point where like every 45 minutes or so, Levi and his family would disappear, and I'd be like, "Where are you guys?" He's like, "We're in the quiet room. Kids are overwhelmed. I'm in pain. We just need to not be moving for a while." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I would walk around the con and then go to the quiet room and find them. We'd walk out onto the floor for an hour or two, and then Levi would be like, "Going back."
And it's sad, but that's just my reality. Now, with that kids and everything, I don't necessarily need the quiet room, but I do have to be able to still sit down and take breaks. And it's always been embarrassing for me. It still is, to be in the middle of this giant thing. And I have to sit down and people are talking and they're talking around me. They're trying to be respectful. And I'm like, you really don't need to
Can I
do
send
this
you
type
one
of
of
thing.
these?
You can. I have one.
Oh, you do? Okay.
It is very nice to use. I should say I used to have one. Like, I don't know where mine is. We don't, like, when we moved, we seem to have lost it. But those are awesome.
Well,
The
apparently I don't know how
ones
to do it
that
anymore.
have like a foldable back are even better.
Apparently I don't know how to do it.
You twist.
Yeah,
You
I'm trying to.
twist and then pull. You twist, pull, twist, pull.
Yeah, I'm.
Do you have it locked?
How do you lock it or unlock it?
They're in the like mine has a little tab on the side, and I think yours does too. Up, right there. You're looking right at it. Is that a lock right there?
This?
That's the handle right next to it. Is that a lock?
No, this is just a thing to hold. To
Oh,
tighten
then
it,
I have no
tighten
idea.
this.
So sad we don't have cons like that. New Zealand, closest we have is Armageddon, our Comic Con. It'd be awesome to see you guys go there. That would be great to go there. But again, any place that, and I will read your comment here in a second, Familiar. Any place that I can't take my medicine becomes one of those places where I have to basically embarrass people, or like they're trying, and they're not. I'm not embarrassing them. I'm feeling embarrassed because they're trying to accommodate me by letting me join in on conversations while I'm sitting down, much, or something like that. And I don't like doing that because it's basically forcing people.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. And that's just a personal thing, right? I realize that most people that are trying to talk to me and engage with me, even when I'm in pain, and are being understanding of that, don't give a shit. They're just happy to talk to me.
Yeah.
But I still feel bad that they're having to bend down or something like that, or be uncomfortable when I could stand up. It just causes me pain. Deadpool asks for lore advice for a masked woman who never talks back to him, only throws shivs and poison him. The silent from Slay. I have no idea what that is. I am so sorry. I don't know. The silent from Slay the Spire. What is that? Is that a game, or is that an anime?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
In the manga that I read, when it gets translated and made into an anime here in the US, the name is vastly different. There's been, I'd probably say about 70 to 80% of the time, Chris will be like, "Hey, have you seen this?" And he'll tell me the name. I'll be like, "I don't know." And he'll show it to me. He's like, "Oh, I know that. I read the manga." And he's like, I was like, "It's a different name."
Yeah.
Weird long Japanese.
Somebody asked earlier what manga or anime artist would you most want to collaborate with? Probably for me, the show that I think has the humor that kind of aligns with us the best, in my opinion, would be the creator of That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime. They have a good sense of action, good sense of humor.
I would do One Punch Man. Creator or One.
Yeah, him too. Yeah.
If he was still alive, Akira Toriyama, the DBZ creator.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Because that would be like his old school original DB, like Dragon Ball. But he wouldn't have like the fact we did parodies of his stuff.
He probably would actually.
Well, he had a weird thing. He liked parodies. He didn't like the comedy. I think he would like ours. I don't think he would like death battles. And the reason why is because he didn't like it when people took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was like, this wouldn't happen.
Right.
So just do it for the fun. Like he was notorious for saying, I'm not going to give you an answer because I don't know who would win.
He was notorious for forgetting characters existed and transformations.
You're like, that was a character I made.
But I mean, at the same time, like I always thought that was weird. But then, like Levi will bring up a video we did, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "This one." I'm like, "Which one?" And he's like, "It's from 3 years ago." I'm like, "I don't remember this." And he sent it to me, and I'm like, "Oh, this one, yeah."
I have a weird thing for being able to remember like really specific, but then you'll tell me like a video that you or I did that maybe I didn't like, that didn't have any lore in it, and I'll be like, I don't remember that. And that's just the reality is that I like the lore driven stuff, so I tend to pay more attention to that.
I was showing my mentor some of our videos, and the one he liked the most was the Megatron blow a transformer video. In terms of how well written, he goes, this one, I have no notes for this one. That one was 10 out of 10.
I think part of that is that a lot of the times when we write that kind of stuff, one, that's a more adult humor, right?
Yep.
And two, we weren't as worried about trying to be consistent with like all the other stuff. So we weren't trying to jump hoops to make things fit. We were just like, what is a good premise?
It was just a conversation.
Let's do this.
It was just a conversation with Megatron and saying, what if Megatron bought these things because he misunderstood what that meant?
And I love that.
Thomas Anderson, you found us on an interesting video.
So the insurance stuff is kind of wonky because, first of all, a couple of people brought it up, and I think it's always 3 days, and everything. And I'm like, well, part of that is like real. That's like, it's always a couple days before you forget, and it's only been a couple days. Now, if we did more reality mixed with the insurance stuff, we'd probably both have to go and research a bit of it. But from my experience with insurance, I think we're pretty much hitting the nail on the head for what people expect, at least. And I think that's more important than getting all the facts right. Like the Winchester video, I love it. Like the video that you did that I mentioned, like there's not a single bit of Winchester lore that's really correct in that.
Right.
For everyone here that has seen that video.
Yeah.
He'd already posted it, or I think, or he had already filmed it. I saw it and I was like, this isn't correct. That's not how the salt works. That's not how the colt works. That's not how the wrought iron works. I was just like, broker. And when I was looking at the comment section, there's a healthy amount of comments who were like, that's not how the Colt works. There was a healthy amount of people like, I don't think salt would work like that. That's not what they do with the salt. A couple people
there were
mentioned
also
the iron.
a lot of people because there are a lot of people who were like, no, the Colt kills the host also. And then a lot of people were like, only if it's a mortal wound. And it's like, and I'm like, I don't know. This was a cameo with short notice. I needed a solution and I found it.
It's funny because like I saw it in time to technically quote unquote fix it, right?
Did it stay consistent to supernatural lore?
No.
But did it stay consistent to its own internal lore from the sketch? Yes.
Brian, I did a recap video. Recap video how many times we've done
Yeah.
And
Well, like,
Kevin McAllister for this. It's just nuts.
if we're ever working on a sketch and you guys hear me talk about whether or not something makes logical sense, I don't care if the sketch gets crazy. What I care about is that the rules a sketch sets up stay
He had a
consistent.
misunderstanding during it. To explain to everyone here about why he's going in this conversation before he keeps going. Me and him had a very massive misunderstanding while writing together. And this often happens when we can't meet and clarify our misunderstandings. And I'll let him finish, but that's where the tangent's going.
The long story short, like you all know the game, The Floor is Lava, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows the game, The Floor is Lava. You can find any insane, crazy, wild way of getting across that room as long as you don't walk on the floor. If you walk on the floor, the game is broken. And so if I'm ever worried about something, I don't care how crazy the sketch gets. What I care about is once we've set up the rules and the walls of what happening in the sketch, if I stop and go, this doesn't make logical sense, what I mean is that joke is walking on the floor. Whether or not it's usually a good joke, but because of what we already established, it doesn't work. Because we've already said that, this character won't ever eat macaroni and cheese. He can't eat macaroni and cheese later. That's typically what I'm talking about. And that was the misunderstanding.
Yeah. And then there was the fact that, like, and this happens a lot when one of us knows more lore than the other one does of a specific thing. Like, we were talking about the Eisen sketch, and I was making it, and I wanted to make sure I understood where he was coming from. And yesterday, because I didn't want to have what we had with the Transformer sketch. You guys don't know that. I'll talk about that here in a minute. And so we got the Chris is like, can you give me a short and sweet this? And I was like, yeah, here. There you go. And that's what wound up being the sketch. That's the reason why it was the angel blades versus gunshots with salt rock and all that kind of stuff. And I'm glad you went with Eisen. I really am, because I feel like especially with using the angel blade as the reference point, that worked out really, really well.
Bleach is sword centric. It makes sense for them to win it with a blade.
Now, with that being said, for everyone here, would it have been funny if they went against a regular hollow? And again, I didn't know Eisen. I had this misconception that he was part hollow. And he corrected that, and I was like, oh, then yeah, go the route you're wanting to go. But if they went against the hollow, it would have been funnier and made more sense if they had gone the route with the shotguns and stuff like that, which would have been hilarious in its own right, winning with guns and sword battle. That would have been its own joke. And with the we were working on animation. We're going to be building out 3 to 4 scripts, full scripts. And there's a message in Discord waiting for you to respond to, by the way, in the animation Discord. And I'd written out a quick sketch, and I was like, this works out really well. It needed some fine tuning. We fine tuned it, and the misunderstanding came when it came to like Megatron and Starscream and how the characters would react and that kind of stuff. And I did not have the spoons, and he didn't have the time to sit there and like have the time to do a face-to-face explanation of where I'm going with this. And I didn't have the spoons to sit there and go through everything. So instead I rewrote it, and we got it honestly, technically, just as strong, but possibly stronger with leaning towards his thing. We've got to fix a couple things on it. But my sketch was the biggest issue was a misunderstanding, and this is for Chris here. Starscream has swapped sides before, technically. Right. And having Starscream have a movie club or a book club with Optimus is fucking hilarious to me. It's also more in the realm of OC fan dub, fan animation. Think of the guys who do the Abridged series make up some really wild and random shit sometimes, right? And we had that misunderstanding. And I was like, this doesn't break this. And he was like, yes, it does. And I was like, what? And we weren't able to sit together and talk. That was the big thing. That is the downside to doing scripts without being able to speak to each other in some fashion and being available specifically to talk about that versus like, let me spend 5 minutes watching this, giving my feedback. And then 30 minutes later, I'm able to look at it and then I give my feedback. And then 2 hours later, he's able to give his. We don't get to be on the same bandwidth at the same time. And every time that happens, every time we're not on the same bandwidth at the same time, there's always misunderstandings. We argue like we're fucking related in the blood sense, and we grew up with each other somehow. It can devolve very quickly. Streamer chat, you're all amazing. Remember, chat, you're all amazing. Yes, you all are. By the way, if you guys have Twitch and you have Prime and you have them linked, you can support us without it costing you a dime. But I do find it funny that we effectively argue like we're related without being really related. So it is important if you are working with somebody. If I'm going to say anything that you take away from any of our stuff, if you're working with somebody, it's super important that you both can be available at the same time to at least fix any misunderstandings. And if you do have a misunderstanding because you're not working together and your time frame's all skewed, like the whole, viewing comments hours later type of thing, or really late at night, to take a step back and remember, hey, we're not on the same bandwidth. Instead of me getting angry and making this an argument, maybe I need to wait until we can speak, until we can talk. And that's something that, like, if you're working with somebody, be mindful to have the patience to listen to them and hear them out. And that sometimes you need to set the time aside.
Yep. So my dinner is here, and I'm now expected to go be social with family. So I got to hop off.
Damn it. I was enjoying it.
Good seeing everyone while I could be in here.
You're going to, before you go, is the one thing that I'm hoping you'll be able to show us all tomorrow, does it still stink?
Like, it's been outside all day, and I pick it up and smell it, and it still stinks.
You might have to, one of the things that was suggested was to take dry baking soda, and dry brush it on there and then brush it all off again, which would be a lot of work, but
yeah,
it might be able to get anything that's off on it. The problem with that is that you are basically putting a dry white powder all over that thing and hoping to get it as clean as possible without ruining the paint.
I mean, the paint, it's dry. It just reeks of acrylic. Reeks of acrylic. And I am super, super sensitive to strong smells, particularly ammonia, which is the main off-gassing gas of acrylic paint.
And for everyone here, depending on the acrylic paint you use, or the paint you use in general, it can take days to sometimes weeks, or even months if it's a really big thing. And the thing I got him turned out to be much larger than I originally thought it was. Like, I legitimately thought I was giving you an action figure that would fit on your shelf.
Yeah.
And you guys will see tomorrow what I got him, even if he can't bring it inside.
Yep. I will assemble it.
So much bigger than I thought it was.
Okay. I'm getting dirty looks from my doorway. Everybody have a great night. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Is he not going to leave? Do I have to move him? I'll remove him. Technically, he's still down there in the corner. I just can't see it. We got a little bar. And it has a screen here and it has a screen here if somebody else joins, and it has a presenter invite. And technically his little box is still there because he didn't hit the leave stream. What did I get him? No. I'll let him show it on screen. I saved for several months. I knew what I wanted to get him for a long time. But or at least I had an idea. I just didn't know which figure to get him. And originally I was like, hey, you like this character, right? And he was like, no, I like this character. And I was like, oh shit, I was wrong. I'm so glad I didn't spend the money already. And so, but I wanted something that represented both the character that he loved, but also a little bit of villain support in the other character that has been such a big part of his life. If you guys look into that, I'll give you a hint. It is DBZ. And so being able to do that was really, really nice. I feel good. I mean, he likes it, and that's important. It really sucks about the smell because I had it shipped to me first so I could make sure it was good. And when I got this giant box, I was like, well, there went my plan to add an additional thing because I was going to make a background for it because that was one part of the thing I could have done. But it is so big. It was like this big or bigger. It was like half my body. I was like, that's too big. I can't make something for that. That's too big. And Irving, I already talked about that. Unless you had a different one that you posted earlier. The deck and mini things. So. And I'm trying to keep up with everyone. I apologize if you sent a different thing. Linus, you got to be careful about lurking. Twitch does not like it if people lurk. So if you're on Twitch, just let me know. Might be able to buy toddler furniture, maybe. But when I saw it didn't have that much of a smell. Now I didn't pull out the entire thing. I only looked and made sure that it was in decent enough condition because it was so packly tight with the foam and everything. I was afraid that if I took it out, I wouldn't be able to get it back in and get it shipped to him. So I only opened up the top, took out the top part that was easy to take out of, looked at it, and it didn't have a strong smell to me. It did have a smell, but it didn't have a strong smell. It had the equivalent of like a painting that I've done, 2 days later, whereas like you can smell it. It probably needs a few more days to air out. But apparently when he got it, we had a heat wave, first of all, and then he got it, and it's like, well, that's not really a surprise that like you're dealing with that. It sat in that box for so long, and then on top of that, we had a heat wave. So it's probably going to take some time. Hopefully he can have it in there. You can lurk if you're a member. Okay, that's good. I think I'm about done eating personally. These skewers are so thick. Like, look at that. They're like double the thickness that they used to be. You want another bite?
Huh?
You want another bite?
Sure. Not great cold.
It really is not. And you just there. So, I'm gonna finish. That's a meal in of itself. Yeah, the skewers. So I still have like half of my crispy pork, which is really crispy today. Because of the skewers, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to finish this. Which is not bad because one meal becomes 2 meals. And that's good for me. Because something that cost me $15-20, it goes from a $20 meal to a $10 meal. Much more reasonable in my mind. Avner, I'm doing okay. I know I got to get back on schedule eventually. And start promoting a bunch of different things and get back to recording. I might record. We have a cameo to do. Does anyone know the Netflix series Gentry Chow? I got a mouthful. And it sounds like I mispronounced it. I know how to pronounce it. Just not with my mouthful. Gentry Chow. on Netflix. It's a really cool series. Netflix is too expensive. I don't pay for it. Shh. Chris pays for it for me through the business because I need to be able to access and watch shows that are trending. Isn't that weird? Anyone that does the type of stuff that we do, where we have to be up to date on like the TV and media to some degree, and we have to be able to turn it on, link it, and watch an episode or two at the very least. It's so weird that that's a thing I get to say. And I was like, technically speaking, that is a business expense. It's like the one of the auto body shops used to have a Netflix account, and for the longest time, they were able to claim it as a deduction. When the new owner took over, he turned all that off, obviously, and just turned it on to the other thing because he didn't know that he could write it off as an expense. And it's like, yeah, you can write that stuff off as an expense if you're smart about it. If you have a job that requires you, or you have customers that are in waiting areas, magazine subscription, TV subscription, something like that, to keep them busy can be considered a business expense, a tax write-off. Has so much. Look at how much pancetta I still have. I ate half the pancetta that I set to my side, and I still have like a tiny little amount right there. Technically, there's a little bit more. And like it was up to here that I set aside to myself. She gave me a lot. There's too much food. There's too much food. I can't eat anymore. I still have more beef skewers or pork skewers. I'm gonna chat with you guys for another 20 minutes, 15, 20. And then we're going to call it. Why? Who wound you up? I got the wind up clock. No one has wound that thing in a month. It just started working. I don't know why. I'm waiting for it to wind back down again. Everyone in the house says they didn't wind it up. So I did it. I feel like someone's playing a prank on me. Go eat some food if you haven't had food. This is the first meal I had all day. We wound up eating very late last night. It was like 11 o'clock by the time we were done eating. And I'm supposed to stop eating at 10. So I wasn't going to be able to eat again until right around now. So it would have been 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to... Why did I do that? 1, it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That would have been 12. Yeah, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. 1, 2 o'clock would have been fine. So, eating at 3 o'clock, I've done my fasting. I'm good. I will be live tomorrow, especially if you bug me. We can sit down, we can try to eat. That sound good? I just ate. But if you need somebody to sit down with you and eat some breakfast with you, because that's what happened. Was like we had breakfast for dinner yesterday, and so it was a big meal, and like I was too full. Lavender? No, I feel that it's the whole state is on fire. There's really glad we didn't do the things. You don't bug people? That's pretty cool. I have Ghost. No, I think it's an old clock. I think what happened, because I turned it off, is what happened. It was like I had wound it up, and then like there's a switch that you can turn off that will keep the spring. I think what happened is we had like a minor earthquake a few days ago. I think that switch, at some point, that switch must have gotten kicked in. It started its unwinding process again, is I think what happened. Something happened, and it's back to ticking, and I'm just waiting for it to unwind. We don't do Ben 10 content. I'm not going to finish the rest of that because Ben 10 was in it. I may eventually try to do a Ben 10 video again. Every year I try to bring him back. And every year I'm disappointed by the fan base. That's fucking sad, isn't it? It's not like I'm not trying. I loved Ben 10 when I was younger. You know, the kids and I watched it together too. It was one of those series that, like, oh, this is fun. And then, like, I had a series that I watched, not necessarily at their age, because Ben 10 hasn't been around for that long. It's been around for a long time, but not that long. At least I don't think. And then I had a series of Ben 10 that I watched with the kids, so on and so forth. So, what the fans do? The first time I did Ben 10, they threatened me to do me bodily harm. And it was not a joke. There was legitimate threats that I had to take into consideration. The second time I did it in a way that shouldn't have made people angry, and it still did. But instead of attacking me, by that time we had a lot of fans. And so there was a lot of discussion in the chat. And it was okay for like a day. And then people devolved very, very quickly. And it was the Ben 10 fans specifically that devolved. Because it was Ben 10 versus Superman redoing that video. And I wish I could say that it was just the Ben 10 versus Superman thing, but it really wasn't. Every time you do a Ben 10 video or mention Ben 10, it's the Alien X or this or that. And I'm like, okay. This is coming from the same fandom that has watched Ben 10 lose multiple times in a single season. To the point where when he finally does bring out Alien X, he reboots his entire universe. Do you know why he reboots? Do you know why Alien X exists? Alien X exists because of the writer's strike, and it continues to exist so they can reboot the universe anytime that they need to. And they made it canon that he's aware of each time. And each time it does, the reason why it's not as good as the previous, there's an in-canon lore reason that he's just not able to make it the same as what it was. And I think that is, one, that's a clever piece of writing. That's a clever bit of writing because you literally acknowledge the fact that the previous version was probably better than the version that you're working on now. The animation and everything can be vastly different. If somebody doesn't like it, you can just go, well, Ben is the one who remade the universe. And he didn't make it perfect because he's a kid. He doesn't know the entire universe. He's not perfect. But if you look at the lore and what everyone says, Alien X should have been able to perfectly mimic the universe and perfectly recreate it. I find that bit funny. But yeah. And then there's the people who will attack you and say, you don't know what you're talking about, this, and this. And it's like, you do realize that particular... I made a video where he didn't have access to his aliens because he didn't have access to Primus. And like, well, he can access those now. And I'm like, did you think for even a hot second? Because that's not how that works. Yes, in the rebooted universe that has nothing to do with the one that I wound up referencing, he has access. The aliens are in the watch. But the particular one that I mentioned, if he gets cut off from Primus, he gets cut off from his aliens. He has like a buffer of aliens, but he doesn't have the whole slew of them. And it just boggles my fucking mind, because a lot of Ben 10 fans think that season, when it first started all the way to the whatever's out right now, all of that lore is correct and everything intertwines, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It says it in the wiki. It says the writers and voice actors have all said that it's separate. There's chunks that are all together, and then there's chunks that are completely separate and completely different and are vastly different than the previous ones. And I had a conversation with somebody who prided themselves as being vastly knowledgeable, and I'm like, I can pull it up right here. This says it right here. What's? Well, that's not how it goes. And I was like, if you can't accept the information that's being presented to you at the moment, then nothing I say is going to get through to you, and we're done with the conversation. And yeah, that's right. So when Death Battle, for instance, they screwed up. I'm going to be honest. They screwed up with the Ben 10 thing. Let's be honest. Had Ben 10 try to get his arm cut off, or that's how they solved it. What bugs me about it isn't the fact that he still could have lost. He's going up against the Lantern of Lanterns outside of his universe. He would have lost because the particular Ben 10 they used was the kid version of Ben 10. He would have lost because he didn't have access to Alien X. That version that they use of Ben 10 did not have Alien X. Now, what they tried to do and accommodate, and it was wrong of them to do, in my opinion, was they tried to accommodate all of his powers and abilities throughout all the fluctuations of time and resets and reboots and everything. And that was where they went wrong with it. Because if you do that, he's not losing at all, period. If you go and take a character, not just at their peak, but give them powers and abilities that they normally wouldn't have because their universe has been rebooted. It's the equivalent of giving Superman his ability to make clones again. Superman doesn't have that ability anymore. It's been retconned. But if you bring all those back, Superman's not losing against anyone. He's not even losing against Ben 10. Ben 10 probably wouldn't win either, mind you, don't get me wrong. But neither person would win that fight at that point. So you have to either, A, if you're going to take the fight seriously, establish where in the timeline you're doing that. Or B, acknowledge that if you do decide to put all those abilities, you need to make sure that it's correct. Give the watch to his sister, they shouldn't argue then. That's true, yeah. But then you'll get the people who change Ben's gender and make it all funky and weird, and it's like, this is a kid's show. You guys are disgusting. Don't go down that pipeline. I accidentally went down that pipeline and I regret it. Fuck, people are weird. It's just a try. Nope, we're not going down that. Again, it's the establish when in the timeline those two people are fighting. Because if you're going peak Ben 10 first couple of seasons when he was a kid versus peak Naruto first couple of seasons, it's probably a coin toss. I'd probably still give it to Ben, but it's still kind of a coin toss. But people, you've got to establish that. Death Battle is able to establish that. They could have established that. With the way we do our videos, it can be very difficult to be like, hey, this is this, unless we say season 1 of The Boys or season 1 of Ben 10. And then because Ben 10's been rebooted, we have to say 1995, 2010, whatever. I don't think he was in the You get what I mean. Yeah. I don't drink alcohol. Appreciate what you're trying to do, but I don't drink alcohol. I can't drink alcohol. Yeah, it's messed up. When Naruto had Sage, so if you do Ben 10, you said Sage mode. So that would be if we did the same age area of Ben 10. That would be putting Ben 10. God, I fucking hate that one because they got rid of all his growth. You remember the one where the Omnitrix, Kevin's car, that kind of thing? What one was that? That's a very specific Ben 10. I have to look it up. I forgot the name. Alien Force, I think it is. Yeah. Ben 10 Alien Force. Which, don't get me wrong, I like Alien Force somewhat. What I didn't like is they retconned all his growth, but yet it's supposed to be take place immediately after he's a kid. You know, like it's supposed to be boom, boom. And then they retconned his emotional growth, which I think was stupid. That's a classic thing that happened because of the writer strike. Again, writer strike. So if you took Ben 10 Alien Force versus Sage Mode Naruto, and you have to specify Ben 10 Alien Force versus Naruto Sage Mode. That way, you can do that. Then you can be like, hey, this is the established lore of that time, and you're going to have a lot less arguments. Here's the problem. You're still going to have arguments. You're still going to have people go like, well, he totally could have still done this. And it's the schoolyard imagination fight. Like my guy jumps over your guy. Well, my guy actually has a force field that blocks your guy's jump. Well, my guy actually has the ability to go through force fields. That kind of fight. And there's no winning that. And it's one thing when the discussions are, even if they're not healthy, are okay. They're no one's getting threatened. Every single time of every single video, people started threatening stupid shit. And I had to turn off comments. If you go and look at our Ben 10 videos, the comments are either off or the videos no longer get views. If the videos are getting views, there's a good chance I'm probably going to have to turn off the comments at some point if I haven't already. And I hate doing that because that kills a video. Kills it 100%. It's dead. Dead in the water. The moment you turn off comments, which Death Battle does, Death Battle has turned off comments. In fact, I think they turned off comments on the Ben 10 video. I think they eventually turned them back on. I have not because I watched what happens. Yeah. And see, what gets me about the whole some fans are insane thing, you hear about the Star Trek community and the Star Wars community as toxic fandoms. My experience with both of those communities has never been as bad as the Ben 10 community or the My Little Pony community or every community that deals with a child show. People will go feral over that shit. And it makes zero sense. Like I love the Owl House. I really do. And most of the community is pretty solid. In fact, you're not going to have too much issue with that community until a bigot pops into that community and then goes, well, I like Owl House. I just wish they didn't make it gay. And oh my God, the feralness. I'm not saying it's right because it's not. I love the fact that they had the representation fully. I wish they would have actually been able to do more representation because originally there was planned for more representation. And they just, no one is in the right once they start threatening each other. Let's put it that way. Yeah, that's another thing. I do comedy videos. Why are you getting angry at me to make comedy videos? It's like you're supposed to laugh at the fact that Ben and Superman butted heads and Superman pretty much dragged Ben off by his ear. That's what you're supposed to laugh at. You're not supposed to get angry that Ben didn't win. You're supposed to laugh at the fact that Superman refused to fight and basically went, "You're going to come with me. We're going to go talk to the person who gave you this power." Because that's what Superman would do. And I find that funny. I'm a parent. I find that funny. Oh, no, we're not bringing up Steven Universe. I'm not. No. No. Yeah, there's a Kid Ben 10 show. And this is another thing. If you were a fan of a show and it got remade into a kid version, let's use Teen Titans Go as an example. I love the original Teen Titans. My kids love the original Teen Titans. No one in my house wants to continuously watch Teen Titans Go. I will give Teen Titans Go the credit where credit is due. They kept the series alive, and there are specific parts and specific episodes that are actually pretty solid. However, the overall show is absolutely shit. But it's not for me. And even though it was demographed for my kids, because I wound up having my kids watch Teen Titans before I even knew Teen Titans Go was a thing, it wound up not being for them. But I recognize, I do, that it's for a younger audience that is not me. Firefly coming back as an animation is for us. It's for people my age. And if they do not do it correctly, they're going to piss off everyone. And I don't think they're going to. I am not excited for Firefly, the animation, as it stands currently. Because if they do hyper-realism animation, it's going to fuck it up. If they get the animation right and do something, in all honesty, similar to Below Decks, which is, you wouldn't think the animation, because when I first watched it, I was like, I'm not really a fan of this, but I wound up loving it because it was so adult humor, yet my kids were able to watch it. I was like, that's fucking perfect. That's a good middle ground. And if you can find an animation, in my opinion, Cowboy Bebop style, if you do that for the animation of Firefly, where you can have it look like Nathan Fillion when he was younger, look like all these characters when they were younger, but very clearly animated and not in the bad cartoony kind of way, the animation's a success visually. Storyline at that point is where I'd be worried. And I like they say they have a storyline. I don't think, like, what I've heard from it, where it's supposed to take place at a specific time zone, like right before the movie and everything. I'm like, that's not what people want. People would rather you just go ahead and nix the movie in its entirety and then go from there. I haven't seen like clips of it, but like I've seen stills of the animation, and I think that the still part looks pretty solid. It still looks cartoony, but like given what they were working with, I think it worked out, but I haven't seen the animation itself. I don't know what it looks like when it moves. And that's key when an animation moves. So like you can have a picture and it can look cool almost no matter what it is, right? But the moment they move, if they look goofy, I think if they did that, and if I'm going to be honest, if the first season of the Firefly animated series was done in Cowboy Bebop style, and it was literally the first season of Firefly, but animated, and then they continue to tell that story afterwards, that would be the route to go. Because then you establish new and old people coming back to it completely. what they're doing now is wrong. They should not do season 2 of Firefly, but animated. Because they're going from an audience that could be this to an audience that's this. Because people aren't going to know what they're fucking watching. They're not going to know the references. They're not going to understand the characters. They're not going to have attachment to the characters at all. So if they're planning to start season 2 Firefly animated 20 years later, they're going to fuck it up. They're going to fail. It's going to be a money grab. And that's what I think it is. In all honesty, I think right now it's a money grab for everyone involved. I like Nathan. I do. I still think it's a money grab. I don't think he needs the money. I don't think he cares about the money. But there are things that you do for your friends and your family, as long as they're not contradicting your beliefs. And if he has the opportunity to help his friends and family get a paycheck and it doesn't compromise his beliefs, I think he would do it. And bringing people Firefly, even if it is only for a set audience, in his mind, that's like, yeah, people want this. Let's give it to them. Who cares? He's not thinking about like making it a success. He's thinking about finish something that he wanted to finish. He's thinking like a creator or an artist who made something 3 years ago, didn't finish it and wants to finish it, and wants to finish it no matter what, because they need their artistic vision finished, no matter if no one else appreciates it. And that's okay when it's your money. When it's your money, who gives a shit? When it's your project, your money, and your vision, yeah, absolutely. But if they do a Kickstarter like they want to do, and I back the Kickstarter, that's my money. It's my money to go make this thing happen, and I would like some say in how that happens. But if they do the Kickstarter and say, hey, it's going to be this, I just won't give them my money. But that's the thing. There are people who will go, I want to see your artistic vision the way you want it to be. And I recognize that because we have Kickstarters and we have, or not Kickstarters, GoFundMes, and we have memberships and everything. And people want to see our vision of things. Like if I were to say, hey, in order for me to do the Stitch series the way I want it to be done, I need this, this, and this, and this. And because all the videos exist and we have hundreds of thousands of fans that want to see it in the way and wants to see my vision be completed, I think that that would happen. But from a personal standpoint, I would probably not do that, because although I understand it and I respect it and I understand people want to do that, I've done it myself. As somebody who's creating, I don't need people's money to finish the project. I just need to fucking finish it. It may not be the way I want it to, but once it's completely finished, if I want to go back and remake it and then remake it with people's money with the guidelines saying this is what it's going to be for the most part, I'm just going to expand and make it better. Then at least I have something to show for it. We did, you should go Google the DBZ Sailor Moon thing. We did a video with that. Or go onto YouTube, since you're on Facebook, go to YouTube. We did post one on Facebook. There's an animation of the transformation. I love it because I did a lot of sound engineering on it. Like I had to create, like there's a sound that's like a squeaky sound. I had to, I kid you not. In here, I'm grabbing my DJI mic that I have somewhere now. I need to find that again. And I'm like, I'm literally engineering sounds for animation. So like, please go watch the animations. Our animators put a lot of work into it. Me and Chris put a lot of work into the scripting and the voice acting. And then I usually touch it up. Chris will touch up the captions and stuff like that. But I'm usually the one that's making all the sounds. I'm like creating the sounds that we need for the animation. And I love it. fucking absolutely love it. I think they mentioned that's kind of what they want to do in order to drag more people into it. And I have no problem with that, provided that none of the original characters are in it. I know that sounds bad. I said that if they do Firefly The Next Generation, they need to have a passing of the torch. Bring in after Wash is gone. Have it be all of them, whether it be live action or animation, whatever. Maybe they've done their grieving, and they're in whatever process that they're in of the grieving process, because some people never get over it and some people do. And have it be a passing of the torch. I would be okay with that, because I get to see my favorite characters. I get to see them evolve. And as long as they don't kill them off, which a lot of people do, as long as they don't kill them off and they do a proper passing of the torch, that lets me have the hope that they're still out there having some type of adventure, just not in the same fashion. I do keep a lot of the sounds, but I keep them in like my own little folder. I need to start labeling them with specific things so I can find them. Yeah. Oh, honestly, exactly like that. Passing of the torch. Now, mind you, my first introduction to Star Wars was The Next Generation, not the movies, but the actual show. So I said Star Wars, Star Trek, sorry. I don't get them confused on average. It's star. Man, I love The Next Generation. Love it. That one was awesome. McCoy meeting Data was really, really cool. I should put the food up so I stop snacking on it. I never corrected the time on that thing. That thing is just going and saying whatever time it thinks it is. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I am running on fumes. I do need to rest. I just got back from physical therapy. I needed to eat, so I need to go lay down on my heating pad. I have seen The Lower Deck. That's why we go. Oh my God, you're gonna love this. Okay, go to our channel. You're on YouTube. Go to our channel. Look up Moopsy. You're gonna absolutely love that sketch. Chris was not aware because I've watched Lower Decks 2.5 times now. I said 3. There's a 3 going on, and that's because 2.5 times. It's not 3. My finger just doesn't move. It does that. It doesn't like that motion. Arthritis sucks, guys. It's alive. Lower Decks is so much fun. I am talking, and I need to finish scripting because I need to make each episode at least 30 seconds long. We're gonna be doing a Star Trek parody, and I'm pretty adamant that it has to be in the Lower Deck style. It has to be animated in the Lower Deck style. It cannot be any other style. One, that style is very easy to animate. So once we got the character creation down and everything, it'd be very easy to animate that style. 2, since Lower Decks got canceled unjustly, even though it was, and get this, an award-winning show at the time it was canceled, and bringing in record numbers, record viewing numbers, and they canceled it. It was actively making the money. And they're like, no, I don't like that. What? Okay, that's good. Possibly. Fun place. I think so. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen, a lot of stuff I have. Sometimes it gets jumbled up in my head. I want to thank you all for joining me and Chris for this. I want to remind you to Remember to take one breath, one step, one day at a time. I wish you all peace of mind, serenity and divine spirit, harmony among others. Bleh. Until the winds blow your sails our way again, you'll have an Acme day. Have an Acme day as a podcast. Don't have an Acme day. Well, really built your account. Have an Acme day. And have an Acme day simply means that the best day you possibly can have. Bye now.